Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX India A-List. In our endeavor to bring forth the stories of some of India's finest and brightest, today we have put together yet another unmissable telecast with India's who's who. We are being joined by the very famous actor and performer Rasika Dugal, an Indian actress. She is known for her roles in several Indian movies and television shows. She made her screen debut with a small role in the film Anwar and went on to star in many critically acclaimed films, namely No Smoking, Aurangzeb and Kissa, Train Station, Tu Hai Mera and Hamid. In 2018, she was seen in the biographical movie Manto, based on the life of writer Saadat Hasan Manto, where she essayed the role of Safia Manto's wife, for which she garnered her first Screen Award nomination in the category of Best Supporting Actress.
A versatile actor.
Being there, having your film screened, what was the kind of response?
It was the first time that my work had been reviewed by critics and international critics, and some of the reviews were so glorious and so favorable.
Well known for her challenging role selection.
Special about Lord Curzon Ki Haveli, what attracted you to the project?
It is essentially a story of 5 people in a room. And the camera never leaves the room. So we're always in one space. Therefore, it's heavily dependent and reliant on performance.
NewsX India A-List proudly recognizes Rasika Dugal for excellence in acting.
Hello and welcome, I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview on NewsX. We are in conversation today with actor Rasika Dugal. Rasika, welcome back to NewsX. Good to have you.
Always a pleasure to be here.
We are catching you very, very soon after you have come back from your big premiere. Your film Lord Curzon Ki Haveli was, of course, the closing night film at the at this prestigious festival, film festival in Chicago. So tell us about how that experience was for you. Firstly, being there, having your film screened, what was the kind of response, and then we'll talk about some other stuff as well that happened there.
Very, very heartwarming, much more than I had expected. Lord Curzon Ki Haveli was the closing night film, as you rightly said, at the Chicago South Asian Film Festival. The last time I had been to Chicago was 12 years ago for the Chicago International Film Festival, where one of the first films that I had done in a lead part, a very indie film called Kshay, had premiered. And it was the first time that my work had been reviewed by critics and international critics, and some of the reviews were so glorious and so favorable at that time that I think it really gave me a lot of encouragement to continue on my journey, which at that time was very, very going through a very hard phase, because I'd already been working as an actor for 6 years and I hadn't had much luck. I'd done 14 films in small parts, and nobody had ever said nice things about my work because they just hadn't seen enough of it, And so I think Chicago has played a role in my acting career in a very special way, and it was very nice to go back. And it was just lovely to see that there are so many people there who are following my work. I have to admit that the largest following was for Mirzapur, as usual. And I hadn't expected that either. I thought there are only certain pockets in India which are so crazy about Mirzapur, but it seems to be something which is popular everywhere and across all kinds of viewers. So there was always lots of questions on Mirzapur, of course, and at the same time there was a very involved viewing of Lord Curzon Ki Haveli, which is completely a different kind of story from something like Mirzapur. It's for the sake of ease, I would say it's a black comedy thriller, and there was just such an involved viewing. The Q&A went on for an hour. There were so many questions about the process of making the film, my journey as an actor, how I view performance, and also I think it's just very nice to see that there were a lot of people who are just starting out on their film journey, and it was just so nice to see that kind of enthusiasm, which was very familiar to me, because that's the kind of enthusiasm with which I had started going to festivals when I had my first work playing there. So yeah, it was quite nice.
And you had your East meets West moment there as well, with, of course, the Mirzapur star meeting the Never Have I Ever star. I think you were together on a panel. Is that correct?
That's right. I had not met Richa before this, and it was like an instant connect. We had so much to talk about. Richa, Apar Shakti, me, and Samrat were on a panel, East meets West, and it was just so nice to see the kind of work that South Asian actors are now getting, and it is now mainstream there that a South Asian narrative is mainstream there. And later we were hanging together, and we'd gone out somewhere, and there were these bunch of girls who were celebrating. One of them had their birthday,
Okay.
and they literally ran out of the car when they saw Richa, and they were like, "Hey, you're from Never Have I Ever." It was just such a moment, because I was like, "Wow, this is now mainstream in America."
True, true, absolutely. And also, you've been doing the rounds, haven't you, off film festivals and off film events, because you were just in, of course, Chicago, as you were telling us, but before that, literally on the other side of the world in Australia, isn't that?
I unfortunately couldn't make it for the premiere of Lord Curzon Ki Haveli to
Okay.
the Melbourne Film Festival.
Yeah.
And I was also nominated for Best Actor for Delhi Crime
Yes, I
at the
believe
same
so.
festival.
Yes.
But I was shooting at that time, so I couldn't make it. It's a lovely festival, and I've always wanted to go, but अभी उसका number नहीं आया. हर साल छूट जाता है.
जी आपका नहीं आया मगर आपकी फिल्म का आ गया तो टेल अस अबाउट दिस फिल्म bit about Lord Curzon Ki Haveli, what you believe is standing out for it, that is connecting it to audiences across the world, and hopefully soon in India too. What is special about Lord Curzon Ki Haveli? What attracted you to the project?
Well, what attracted me was that it is essentially a story of five people in a room, and the camera never leaves the room. So we're always in one space. Therefore, it's heavily dependent and reliant on performance, which for me was a very interesting challenge, and I'm
Yes.
always intrigued by that. And also, I had wonderful actors to play off in a setup like this. Arjun Mathur and I have been wanting to work with each other for a while. I've always really admired him as an actor, and I thought it would be interesting to be on a project with actors who know how to improvise, who know how to play off each other. And I think working with him superseded my expectations. It was absolutely a delight. And also with Paresh Pahuja and Zohar Rahman and Tanmay Dhanania. Tanmay has done a lot of films which have been on the festival circuit, and I've always had a lot of admiration for his work. So yeah, to have the correct bunch of actors for a film like this, that was what was attractive to me about this setup. And I think Anshuman Jha, the director, really knew how to sort of bring that together, and we workshopped the film for a bit earlier. And I'm very happy to find that a lot of people want to workshop and prepare before films start. But I have
Yeah.
to say, very often the preparation process goes absolutely wrong. The idea of a workshop is exciting to people, but very few know how to workshop for a particular film. There's not one way to prepare for every role, and sometimes preparing for it in an incorrect way, where at least your idea of preparation doesn't match the other person's idea, it can really go wrong. But in this case, it was absolutely fantastic, and we had actually prepped some of it before the pandemic. And then we couldn't shoot the film because the pandemic happened. And when we were supposed to shoot the film again, I was really very busy in the middle of too many projects, and I was juggling too many things. And had it not been the memory of such an exciting preparation process, I might not have gone back to shoot for the film,
Yeah.
honestly. So I think that for me was very exciting as an actor. There are very few people who give you time to prepare, and to prepare in a good way. Yeah. And what is exciting about the film is that it's quite a bizarre film, I have to say, and I'm very intrigued to see how audiences respond to it. This was
Yeah.
the first time that I had watched it with an audience. I'd
Okay.
previously watched it by myself on a smaller screen. I mean, there were some jokes that I had not imagined would be funny, that people people were totally enjoying. There were, of course, some that I had expected would really land well, but didn't quite. So, those kind of things happen. Every audience sort of watches a piece of work with their own set of idiosyncrasies, and that's always exciting to watch.
Yes. Okay. So that was, yeah, an interesting experience for you, I'm sure, which we'll see more of in the days ahead too, as more and more audiences watch that project. But very quickly on what you have seen change as far as Indian films and films response abroad is concerned. It's been many years for you going abroad, as you've been saying, for various film festivals. Have you seen a change vis-a-vis audiences' outlook towards stars like you and also the Indian industry in general?
Well, there's obviously much more recognition of my work because previously, when I had gone to festivals, I don't think uh, the streaming services had happened in this way. Uh, the last time I went to a festival was in 2019 for Sundance with Delhi Crime, and that
Yeah.
was, I think, the beginning of my mainstreamish work coming out.
Yes.
And so, yeah, a lot of people now who I meet are very familiar with my work. So that is different and it's very heartwarming, of course. But otherwise, I think the festival space largely has been very sacrosanct. It always appreciates all kinds of filmmaking. And
Yes.
it's always a space which, there's always a very discerning audience who's very excited about the work. So just to go back to it is very encouraging for me.
Okay. Well, final question then, Rasika. What's coming next now? People are very intrigued to know. We, of course, last spoke to you for Adhura, which was really loved and enjoyed by audiences, of course, on OTT. They got quite spooked by it. But what's coming next?
I don't know what will release next. There are a bunch of projects that I've done, about 7, 8 actually, which are
Okay.
all going to release when they do. But I think that the next one might be Mirzapur 3.
Okay. Okay.
The next
That's
release might be Mirzapur 3.
that's an interesting clue that you've given us, and I'm sure audiences are going to
I don't
wait
know
with
when,
bated
but
breath.
it might
Yes,
be my
but
next
it
release.
might be. It might be. Chaliye, we'll take that. Thank you so much, Rasika, once again for joining us on NewsX, and all the very best.
Thank you, Ray.
All right, next up we have with us Dr. Shilpi Mohan, a cardiologist, a holistic healer, a clairvoyant and an influencer who believes that prevention rather than treatment must be the prime focus of our healthcare system. Dr. Shilpi Mohan was also bestowed the honor of the most promising holistic healer for the year 2022.
Saving lives.
Where did the idea to start this venture come from?
Trying to provide a physical, spiritual, and psychic healing under one roof. That is Ashwata Cardiac Care Center.
Making society a better place.
Professional contribution to make India's economy stronger.
Playing a little bit role, but a decisive role in shifting the focus from illness to wellness.
NewsX India A-List proudly recognizes Dr. Shilpi Mohan for excellence in cardiothoracic surgery.
Hello and welcome. I am Pia and you're watching NewsX A-List. Joining us on the broadcast is Dr. Shilpi Mohan, who's a cardiologist, a holistic healer, a clairvoyant and an influencer who believes that prevention rather than treatment must be the prime focus of our healthcare system. It was with this vision that she established the Ashwata Cardiac Care Center. Ma'am, at the outset, I would like to ask you, where did the idea to start this venture come from and how did you discover your passion?
I firmly believe that disease is a manifestation of a mental and physical imbalance. It is not just the physical imbalance that we look at. It is both mental and physical imbalance. And we cannot treat the patient per se by leaving the core issues behind, be it unhappiness in life or any other factors that is affecting the psyche of the patient. So I'm trying to provide a physical, spiritual, and psychic healing under one roof. That is Ashwata Cardiac Care Center.
Right, ma'am. What is your business strategy that makes you stand out amongst the crowd?
First of all, for me, the work is not business. So I think that is the passion that is driving me. And I think that all the people who are coming across me, they are sent by God. And I try to influence them and try to heal them in whichever way possible. So I'm just trying to act as a conduit between the ultimate healer and the healed. So whatever he wants to manifest, I'm just trying to fulfill his wishes.
How lovely. You spoke about your passion. Where does this appetite for business as well as appetite to see the best in people come from?
See, I started my journey as a doctor. I was a physician, and then I embarked upon my journey as a cardiologist. But still, I felt that there's something which is lacking in the entire process, because patient used to come to me for treatment, but there were many other shades and many other layers which they were not able to discuss with me. So I was always interested in occult practices and contemporary healing practices. So when I tried to venture into those forays as well and tried to learn into those aspects of the patient, I realized that I'm able to complete their entire treatment. And now they are not just my patient; they are now the part of my extended Ashwata Cardiac Care family. So I can say that playing a role as a cardiologist, yoga trainer, tarot card reader, crystal healer, then chakra healer, and a psychic healer, I can combine all the aspects and give them a holistic healing.
All right, you've spoken a little bit about your journey in your prior answer. I also wanted to ask you, what obstacles and challenges do you face, and how do you overcome them?
See, we have a skepticism regarding combining science with occult practices. And that is very valid as well, because science is based on scientific research and occult is not based on that. So people have this skepticism regarding combining medical treatment with spirituality and occult practices or psychic healing. So these were the hurdles which I faced. But when I started giving them the entire treatment and try to combine all these things, and they were getting benefited from them, I got more and more confidence, and then patient also started getting benefited from them.
All right, so what would you say about your professional contribution to make India's economy stronger?
Yeah, India is definitely emerging strong and moving towards becoming a superpower. This is not possible without having a healthy body and a healthy mind. So I am playing a little bit role, but a decisive role in shifting the focus from illness to wellness.
What a lovely thought at your end, ma'am. One last question I would like to pose to you. Are there any other thoughts that you would like to share with our viewers? And could you also share your life's mantra?
Yeah, life is too short, so we should not have any regrets. We should shed behind all the stereotypical roles and the tags we attach ourselves with. Like, I'm a doctor, I'm a physician, so I'm meant to be like this. No, we should follow the unconventional path, and that has always been my mantra, that I'll follow the path which is close to my heart, and I'll influence everybody who comes across me, you included.
All right, with that, I would like to thank you for joining us on the broadcast, sharing your perspective and your life's journey.
Thank you.